Week 4 is upon us, finally. And I say finally, but I mean, good Lord. This season
First three
is
of
flying by.
Yeah.
We're going to start with the Thursday night game, as always. We're going to go start to finish. Browns at Ravens. Doesn't seem like much of a matchup.
Shouldn't be. Baltimore has to take this.
Yeah, we can't expect the unexpected. Baltimore's going to win, but nothing's.
Of course, I am
guaranteed.
still waiting for the team that has the least points after the end of 60 minutes to win the match. I'm still waiting for that to happen. I'm sure it's going to happen this year.
Yes.
Who was it? Joseph Sparty, and we're just going to call you out on this, but you made probably one of the greatest comments that has ever showed up on our Facebook page. He said that not Sidney Rice, Golden Tate.
Mm-hmm.
No, Russell Wilson was the first quarterback to ever throw a game-winning interception.
Yes, I seen that.
Yep. For his team.
For his team.
Yep. It was amazing.
Moving on. We're going to start with the 1 o'clock games. Patriots at Bills. Suddenly, this game seems a heck of a lot more interesting.
I agree.
The Bills' defense is actually standing up a lot more than they did in the first week.
Fitzpatrick has looked terrific the past 2 games.
Patriots haven't looked all that good.
I think them bringing Welker back into the fold is going to help out a lot. And when you think of it, Fitzpatrick or Tom Brady, who's a better quarterback?
Brady, naturally.
Brady has 4 touchdowns. Fitzy has 8.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just those. New England's 20-2 against, 20-2 since 2001 against the Bills. Bills are at home. New England's favored by 4. I'm going to take the Bills.
I'm taking the Patriots. I think that Buffalo won't be able to match the Patriots like the Ravens were, and when it comes to offense.
I'm actually going to take the Patriots as well. I think it's going to be hard to, and I know, Megan, you're just going to have to hate me. But it's going to be hard for the Patriots. Are probably still pissed after Sunday night, so I'm thinking they're going to come in and just the same as Green Bay with the Saints this week.
Yeah.
Moving on to the Vikings at Lions, another NFC North matchup this week.
Last week I would not have expected this to be a game.
I agree.
I agree. But the Lions look horrible and the Vikings look good.
Mm-hmm.
Let's better.
Yeah, I was about to say let's take off the holy crap they just beat us, so let's make them sound a heck of a lot better than us.
It's not even
Ponder looked terrific. I mean, Ponder's stats. He's thrown for 713 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Stafford has thrown for 863, 3 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. I mean, Ponder's looked terrific.
It wasn't just us that they beat. They've had a win before us.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Minnesota on the road at this one.
I think I'm going to Minnesota on the road, too.
Yeah, I'll go Vikings. I'm going to go Vikings.
See, this used to be you a few years ago. You used to pick the road teams all the time. Said home field doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
Now look at you.
Yeah, road team still.
Yeah.
Chargers at the Chiefs. After last week, Chargers were 2-0 going into the week. Mm-hmm. They felt pretty good about themselves, and then they ran up against a pretty decent defense in Atlanta. Chiefs don't have that defense.
I agree.
I'm going to have to take Chargers on the road.
I agree, Chargers.
I'm going to take Kansas City at home. San Diego has only won 3 games in Kansas City since 2001. I think Jamal Charles is back on track. And Kansas City has a ton of talent on that offense. If they can just unleash it, if Castle can figure out how to distribute the ball correctly to his talented players, then I think Kansas City can put up some points.
Kansas City's not playing the Saints.
Daniel wants to argue so bad. He's just chomping at the bit. Please shut up, just so I can finish. Seahawks at Rams. Another game you wouldn't think. Never mind. Everyone still hates
Seahawks wins.
Yeah, I'm going to go Seahawks in this game.
Seahawks. St. Louis has some awful O-line troubles.
But Seahawks got the
How about the Panthers at the Falcons? A lot of people are looking at this going, oh, well, hey, this is the first division matchup for the Falcons. Do you think it's going to be a stumbling block?
It don't matter.
This could get ugly quick.
Falcons going to hurt them.
Yeah. Falcons are better than the Giants right now, and the Giants put a whipping on the Panthers. This honestly could be a 40-14 game.
You really think so?
I mean, at home against the first divisional opponents, Carolina has some serious issues.
But they best not let it become a trap match.
That's kind of my thinking too. I'm going to take Atlanta, and I'll probably take Atlanta and the points because they're favored by 8. But I worry just because I'm a fan.
I'm telling you, this could get bad quickly for the Panthers. If there was no teamwork, nobody was gelling last week. Despite the fact that they couldn't score, they weren't even on the same page. Cam wasn't on the same page with his wide receivers. The running backs couldn't do anything. The defense couldn't stop anything.
Their offensive line couldn't do it.
They look.
Dang.
Panthers look terrible. They looked awful last weekend.
49ers and the Jets. Suddenly, this game actually kind of looks interesting, just simply because Revis is out.
Yeah. They're number one corner.
Tim Tebow may run over the 49ers rush defense.
That's what's going to happen.
And you know what? We're week 4 into the season, and that's my first mention of Tim Tebow.
How close is Sanchez to the bench?
I'm nowhere near,
You don't think he's
in my
close?
opinion.
He's a lose away. If this is a one-sided game, the 49ers do what they're going to do.
I think he's a lot closer than a lot of people expect.
Wait. Let's just put this on hold here. Let's just say that the 49ers lose, but Sanchez has a good game. Doesn't throw any picks, throws a couple touchdowns, but Jets defense just can't stop 49ers. Do you really still think that Sanchez is close?
All that matters is wins. And if Sanchez, even if he has a good... I honestly think Sanchez is closer to the bench than a lot of people believe.
I'm taking 49ers on the road again.
I'm taking 49ers.
Titans at the Texans.
Houston.
Yeah.
Next.
See,
it's so great being a host when you can just say something, and when everybody says one word, you're like, okay, moving on.
12-point favorite. They got a terrific D. They can run the ball. They can pass. Houston.
So 4-0. So you're picking the Falcons and Houston to go 4-0 in the first 2 weeks, or first 4 weeks. All right, 4 o'clock games. Raiders at the Broncos. You wouldn't think that this would be a big game, but for the AFC West, it's looking interesting.
Up. This AFC West is becoming very, very interesting.
And it's because they're so bad.
That is true. That is very true. It was like the NFC West like 2 years ago.
Yes.
I mean, just everybody was awful.
You don't think? I mean, Peyton's played 1 home game or 2?
1, I believe.
And he did pretty decent in that 1 home game.
All right, yeah. But it's like I said, his numbers have fallen off quite drastically from his whole body of work. He's not the quarterback he used to be, but I firmly believe home field advantage is big in the NFL.
Sometimes.
In some places, not San Diego, not Jacksonville, but some places.
It really depends on who you're playing, too.
What do you think about the season that Carson Palmer's having?
He is
879 yards, 5 touchdowns.
Palmer was a good quarterback in Cincinnati. He was a decent quarterback.
Yeah, Palmer's always been a decent quarterback. He's an NFL starter. He's going to start in a lot of teams. McFadden is the big reason Oakland is going to win or lose. I mean, he is their workhorse.
Well, obviously, because it's changed so much from a couple years ago, because Oakland's offensive line a few years ago was just
atrocious.
It was Swiss cheese. So you're looking at it now. Carson Palmer staying on his feet more. McFadden's having holes to run through. It's
Darius Hayward-Bay was cleared to play. They thought it was a concussion. It was just a minor neck injury. He will be cleared to play this weekend, I
But he
believe.
probably won't play. I don't think he will.
You don't think he will?
Neck injuries are serious.
Yeah, but it's not a concussion.
Well, I guess so. Yeah, good point. I still pick Denver.
Dolphins at the 3-0 Cardinals. Who would have thought that we would be sitting here 4 weeks in and say that? You're so full of crap. I think you've picked against the Cardinals every week, so don't go there.
Yeah, I have. No, I picked the Cardinals last week.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, against Philadelphia.
I was in Chicago. I don't believe it.
Cardinals going to win. They'll go 4-0. Cardinals will keep the hold of that West Division.
Will there be a quarterback battle once Skelton is back full?
I'm saying no. Kevin Cobb looked good last week. He looked good in bringing the team back. Kevin Cobb's looking good.
I agree.
And the money's there.
Still with the hot hand. I know Skelton did well, but Cobb looked terrific in the game he started, in the game he's played. Stay with the hot hand.
Speaking of quarterbacks, let's talk about Ryan Tannehill real quick. How quick is he? How close is he? Not his girlfriend. Bryce, focus.
On his girlfriend?
How close is he to the bench?
Who's his backup?
Yeah, not at all.
Chad Henne.
Okay, who's his backup?
Does he play? Is he a quarterback?
That's what I'm saying. He's there in case Tannehill
Stop
gets
your
hurt.
allegiances to Ohio State for once.
Not close at all.
Yeah.
They put their chips in Tannehill, just like Cleveland did with Brandon Weeden.
He's got the same record as Luck. It's like saying how close is Luck to the bench.
Go through his growing pains. Go through this season. We saw how it's paid off for Minnesota this year with Christian Ponder the way he's
And
looked.
Blaine Gabbert.
Yeah,
To get better, you start to play.
Yeah.
The Bengals are facing off against the Jaguars in Jacksonville.
Speaking of Gabbert.
Do we need to? Can we move on?
Bengals win.
Yeah, Bengals.
I'm Bengals big in my opinion, even though they're favored by 3.
They're on the road.
The Saints are playing Green Bay.
The 0-3 Saints.
Yes, the 0-3 Saints.
0-3 Saints.
Fixing to be 0-4.
I agree.
Green Bay's favored by 8 at home.
You know
Because
why?
the Saints are that bad.
And Green Bay's pissed off.
Oh,
Green Bay's
Yeah.
mad. The offense hasn't clicked to Aaron Rodgers' standards so far this year. The Saints have no defense. This could be ugly. I think the Falcons-Carolina game could be big. This could be a huge gap.
But let's look at it this way. I mean, Daniel said it last week or in the recap show.
Mm-hmm.
If you can run, you can beat the Saints.
Mm-hmm.
Green Bay doesn't have a
They
rushing.
don't have a rushing team. They're
offense.
not. Yeah, you're right on that. But it doesn't
Cedric
matter.
Benson
The
only has
Saints
144 yards this year.
You're forgetting one of their big backfield assets who is not a running back.
Oh, no, who is that?
Cobb.
Good point. That's a really
okay.
good point.
Randall Cobb from Kentucky. He is.
He's a wide receiver, is
Watch.
he not?
He is, but he is coming out of the backfield. They have a few wildcat sets, a few end rounds, and he has
He's
put
the
up some
TNT
rushing
boss
stats.
of the Packers.
Everybody's agreeing Packers, though.
Yeah. Watch for here. This is my sleeper. Watch for Randall Cobb to be the number 1 wide receiver at the end of this year for the Packers. He will take over Greg Jennings' spot as the number 1 wide receiver.
He just can't stay healthy.
He is. Oh man, he is a talent.
A game that a lot of people are looking at going, okay, we're going to really see how these teams match up to really gauge the rest of the year. Redskins at Tampa Bay.
Two of some of the worst defenses in the league.
Well,
Redskins-
I wouldn't really say that. I think the
Bucks
Buccaneers'
have a decent
defense is
defense.
pretty good.
They gave up over 400. I mean, they gave up over 600 yards to the Giants. Their offense is good, but that's not what they were based off of last year.
He threw the ball 100,000 times.
That is very true. If you complete once every other time, he'll have a lot of yards.
And I mean, Griffin III has been throwing the ball a lot.
He runs. They got to help that man out. They've got to help RG3 out.
I agree.
I'm still picking Redskins.
What you got?
I'm gonna keep going with them.
I gotta go with the Buccaneers.
I'm taking Bucks too.
Just because
I have
Freeman's looked horrible this year, but I have to believe that.
Does he
they're
not have the
gonna turn it around.
lowest amount of yards this year? As a
I think he has 300.
400 yards, something like that,
200?
3 or 4.
491 yards, not the lowest.
That's pretty close.
Yeah,
That whole team's a train wreck, though.
The Sunday night game, Giants at Eagles. This is so far in how far these teams are right now. The Giants look pretty good. The Eagles, even though their record shows 2-1, they
should
look
be 0-3.
awful.
Yeah.
And the Cardinals showed that
this
you
dream
took
team.
advantage, yeah.
This dream team thought is just out the door.
It's a steam team.
And we actually talked about this off air, but I mean, is Andy Reid on the hot seat?
I thought he was on the hot seat for the past 10 years.
He'll never be on the hot seat until he decides to leave himself. Especially, they're not going to fire him, especially after his son dies.
I agree. I mean, year in and year out, we talk about Andy Reid being on the hot seat, but he's still there.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the field general, but he's the guy. He's the head coach.
And the Monday night game. Bears at Cowboys. Cutler at Romo.
Mm-hmm.
This is... I'm taking the Bears. I have to, dude.
Understandable.
The Bears defense looks good. Their pass rush with your offensive line.
Yeah, I
even though
understand.
Dallas is favored by 4.
I understand 100% why people would take Chicago.
But it all comes down to what Cutler shows up. I'm going Cowboys.
I'm going to believe that the Cowboys will get their offensive line issues
hate the Cowboys.
straightened out this year or this week. Witten had a ton of drop passes against the Buccaneers. I have to believe that that's not going to happen again. He's one of the greatest tight ends the game has ever known. Des Bryant, Miles Austin, Felix Jones, DeMarco Murray.
Witten has a bunch of drop passes
He
this
does.
year.
Witten has I want to say 4 more drop passes through 3 weeks than he had the entire season of last year. I mean, he's had a lacerated spleen the first 3 weeks, but that's just not very Witten-esque. But, I'm going to have to go with the Cowboys in this one. I think they get their offensive line issues worked out, and we make a statement Monday night that we're a force to be reckoned with in the NFC.
All right, guys, thanks for all that you do. Keep following us on Twitter at Sports Club NFL. Obviously, you're going to catch us on Facebook. Also, if you can, get on the picks.
Yeah,
the picks did pick them.
Everybody's doing real good on that.
Yeah.
Except for Billy.
Yeah, I missed it last
He
week.
didn't get anybody last week.
I see.
Yeah.
That was awful. You missed
Well,
every game.
I was.
How did you mispick every game?
Because I didn't pick a game.
That is just terrible.
Yeah, it was awful. But I'm coming back with a passion this week. But for the Week 4
Passionate pick.
yeah. Week 4 preview. This is for Bryce and Daniel. I'm Billy. This has been Sports Podcast.